उमेंदर, ये क्लास अटेंड कर रहे हो ना? और ये क्या हुआ तुम्हारा आई नहीं फॉर्म? अच्छा, ठीक है। 15 मिनट मतलब क्लास अभी अभी तो क्लास शुरू हो रहा है। हाँ, 1 बजे के बाद। हाँ। So the slide is visible. Anybody?
Yes, sir. The slide is visible, sir.
Okay. So in last two lectures, first we discussed about 3D fabric. Then we discussed their classification. Last time I have shown you different types of 3D fabric. And today we will discuss 3D manufacturing. Uh, Although this manufacturing is not a very standard or established method, as you know, the technology is very new and the standard machinery are not available. So I will show you some of the machines which are being used to make 3D fabrics. Um, in research stage, and some of the machines which we have in our lab, in our 3D weaving center. You can also, whenever you come to the campus, you can have a look to those machines. So I'll give you a very brief idea what are different techniques being used to produce 3D fabric, particularly 3D solid structure. Then from next class, we'll switch over to 3D hollow structures, that is called spacer fabric, then 3D honeycomb structure and profile structure. So in all total, we'll discuss these 4 different type of 3D, and the very first type is 3D solid structure. Today we will discuss about 3D solid structure. If you recall, in very first lecture I said 3D fabric manufacturing is possible by weaving, by nonwoven, by braiding, and also by knitting. And 3D woven fabric is most popular. The reason being, it is the same reason why 3D 2D woven fabric is popular. Because woven fabric, because of its structural stability and strength, this material is used for many load bearing applications. So, and there are 4 special characteristics are mentioned here for 3D fabrics. Then you should understand this, and in future you will try to correlate these 4 special characteristics of the 3D fabric. First is structural integrity. So this point I have explained you last class very well. Single fabric system. Okay. Today also you will see in manufacturing how structural integrity is obtained, how a single fabric system 3D fabric is different from the multi-layer stitched 3D fabric. So that is what meaning of structural integrity means. If it is a multi-layer fabric solid structure, all the layers are integrated by virtue of weaving technique itself, not by stitching or by lamination. That is what the meaning of structural integrity. Number two, structural maneuverability. So this, to explain this is particularly I will explain you the second point on 3D orthogonal structure, and there I will tell you what is structural maneuverability. Third one is shape ability, that is near net shape. That means in 3D weaving, we try to produce a structure which is exactly same as the finished product. If you want to produce a 3D structure taking 2D fabric, then it is a multi-step process. You take 2D fabric, go for layering, go for stitching, and its composite processing also a multi-step process. It takes a lot of time and labor consuming and time consuming. Whereas the meaning of near net shape, that is called shapeability, what it is, if you want to produce a 3D fabric of a definite structure or shape, as it is, the fabric can be woven on the loom. That is what called near net shape, means the shape of woven fabric comes out from the weaving machine is exactly same as the finished product which we want to make. That's the meaning of near net shape. Third is good interlayer shear strength, which gives you delamination resistance. So, for example, look at this fabric, the first sample one. This is a many layers, more than 15 layers in this fabric, and they are all integrated by weaving. So, when this fabric or its composite, when it is converted to composite, will be subjected to some shear force or some impact force, then individual layers will not get separated. They will not be delaminated because it is a single structure. So that is the point written, good interlayer shear strength. Every individual layer are integrated by some binding thread, and how this binding thread pass through the fabric structure, that also you will see today in some example. Okay. So coming to manufacturing, look at this funny diagram picture, and we know how this tiny insect makes its house to trap its prey. And weaving concept came from this tiny creature only. But even today, there is no established technology which can produce this kind of fabric in which the warps are radially spread and weft yarns are laid down in concentric circle. It is a very special structure, but he has made it by interlacing. Similarly, the inspiration from 3D fabric came from these tiny bars. Look at this, is a 3D fabric, and here this 3D fabric takes many concepts. It is not only a thick multi-layer, it is also cellular, 2 layer of cells. This bird has made one cell for herself, another for her kids, and it has enough strength to protect themselves from whatever natural problem, whether it is wind, rain, sun, whatever. So if you look at what we are looking at today in a 3D fabric, They are mentioned below. Thick, multi-layer, hollow, lightweight, cellular, protective, near net shape, and definitely this construction is absolutely brilliant. We want to make 3D fabric of all these characteristics. And when I will be completing in next 3 lectures all different type of 3D fabrics, you will find exactly we are looking at these characteristics. It has to be thick, as you see here. It has to be multi-layer. Multi-layer we will discuss today. It has to be hollow. You can see it hollowness from here also. Lightweight, cellular. It has made 2 cells, protective, and near net shape. Look at the engineering architecture involved here. It's near net shape. The shape is made in such a manner it's finished product. And we want to make 3D fabric in exactly similar manner. We want to develop something which is exactly same as the finished product we want, so that there is no post weaving expenditure. For example, you must have heard about seamless knitted garment. There are some knitting machines nowadays from where you can straight away get a sweater or any garment. You don't have to go for stitching. It's a near net shape material, so it saves money. We don't have to go for stitching or tailoring. Similarly, in 3D structures, we want to develop some products, some fabrics exactly in the similar manner, which will be converted to composite material subsequently without any post weaving process. That means highly economic process. So that is what the concept or meaning you can conclude from this diagram. So what the point I want to explain here is 3D weaving is nothing new. The figure which you see here is a velvet weaving. I will show you subsequent diagram from where you can make out this is a velvet fabric, and it is also a 3D fabric because look at the thickness, shape. It's a 3D shape. There is a top layer, there is a bottom layer, there is a pile thread connecting top and bottom. Looks like a sandwich preform, and we produce velvet fabric exactly by this method. Look at how we produce. So there is a top layer fabric, there is a bottom layer fabric, and there is a group of thread which pile thread coming from another beam connecting top and bottom. Then subsequently we cut it here from the center. Then we get a fabric of this type, which is called velvet. You must have come across this fabric. Very smooth surface, hairy surface, used for many purposes. It's called velvet weaving. This is also a kind of 3D fabric because of its structure, because of its thickness, because one of our definition of 3D fabric is a very, very thick structure. But purpose is somehow different. Here, the fabric which you produce, we cannot use it for making composite material. The purpose for which 3D fabric is produced is something different, either composite preform or protective or some other near net shape applications. Only by virtue of its structure, by its shape, by its thickness, it looks like a 3D fabric, but it really does not serve any purpose of 3D fabric. The idea is we use this concept today to make special fabric, which I will explain probably next class. But anyway, 3D can be produced by velvet weaving principle. That is what the meaning is. That was the first concept of 3D. Next, second, stitching operation to produce 3D fabric. What it means, we produce many 2D fabrics, go for layering and go for stitching. Look at this. So many layers, and then take a sewing thread, go for stitching. You can do this by stitching, or even you can go for applying adhesive between each layers. We call laminating. But ultimately, you will get a 3D fabric. This practice is carried out in the absence of a 3D weaving system. If you don't have a 3D weaving system, then people use this method. The idea is to get a thick structure, multi-layer structure, and subsequently we use special stitching machine to sew and to make it thick, depending on how many layers, what is the final thickness we want. And using this principle, you can have a look here. It is a bulletproof jacket. Today, even today, majority of the bulletproof jacket is, this is a what you call soft armor. In bulletproof jacket, we have two types of bulletproof jacket. One is purely soft armor, means no composite, no hard, no stiff material inside, only this multi-layer fabric, or nowadays of late 3D fabric being used. Another method is in between, you can insert bulletproof solid ceramic plates. But as you know, as you go on inserting those stiff ceramic plates, the mobility of the wearer is restricted. It is inconvenient, uncomfortable. So people want completely 100% flexible body armor. Okay. But question is, that is only I said application. But if you go to proper application of 3D fabric, for which we produce composite material, and if you, for that purpose, if you make 3D fabric by this stitching, what is the problem? Problem is written here in 2 points. Dimensional stability, conformability, and moldability. These are the terms used in composite processing. First, poor dimensional stability. Conformability. It becomes so stiff, it will not take the shape which we want. See, after making suppose 20 layers of single fabric stitched, and we want to make a bulletproof jacket out of that. As you know, bulletproof jacket means it's a fabric. It should have some flexibility. It should have some shear properties. It should have some compressibility. We must be able to stitch it. We must be able to give it a shape. So if we take 3D or thick structure by this technique, then the structure lacks these 3 problems, these properties: dimensional stability, conformability, and moldability. Poor moldability, poor conformability, poor dimensional stability. And the most important problem which come across if you take or make a 3D fabric by this is called poor interlaminar strength. As I said, delamination resistance. If the structure is subjected to an impact force, if this structure is subjected to a flexural load, then you will find each layer will get separated. That means interlaminar strength is poor, delamination resistance is poor. Okay, that is what the drawback if you make a 3D fabric by 3D stitching operation. Okay. Third type of 3D, stitched multi-axial 3D fabric. It is same as this one, but what is the difference is each layer is placed at different orientation. I have written in the next slide, you can read it better. We call it non-interlaced 3D fabric structure. Non-interlaced multi-layer 3D fabric structure. So non-interlaced fabric consists of multiple layers, multiple fiber means multiple fabric layers that are stacked one on top of another. Number one. Number two, there is no interlacement between these layers. So the fibers lie across the structure without crimping because each layer is independent. This is an obvious advantage for in-plane properties. The in-plane properties of these structures is good since the fibers are well oriented in all plane directions. Look at, if you take the fabric, this is warp and weft. Here it is warp direction. Here it is weft direction. Here it is warp at 45 degree. Here it is weft at 45 degree. So it gives an isotropic structure. You can arrange in such a manner in every layer the arrangement or the direction of orientation of warp and weft at a different direction at different angle. So overall the 3D which we get is an isotropic structure. That is the point written here. Because of this, the in-plane properties are very good. Whereas the out-of-plane property means property in thickness direction, property in Z axis or Z plane is very, very poor. Because we don't have any yarn in Z axis in thickness direction, which you will see we can have these yarn in Z axis in thickness direction in case of 3D weaving, where you will get very good out of plane properties. Okay. Next point. If the fabric has one set of yarn oriented in 0 degree direction, it is referred to as uniaxial. If it is in both direction, like our normal fabric, we call it biaxial. Warp is in y-axis, weft is in x-axis. Or if you can make it in different direction, 0, 90 and plus minus 45 direction, we call it multi-axial fabric. So multi-axial fabric, you have a lecture subsequently. We will discuss this multi-axial weaving, but it is written here in the context of 3D. As you can see, 0 degree means uniaxial, 90 degrees means 90 and 0 combined means biaxial, plus minus 45 degree, so that as a whole you get a multi-axial fabric, and that is definitely advantage. So I discussed three different type of 3D structure which are not really true 3D fabric. Now we will discuss actual 3D weaving. In actual 3D weaving, what you will find, the constituent yarns are positioned in the Z direction to produce fabric thickness, because we have to have some yarn in thickness direction, then only you can have a multiple layers, then you can get a thick structure. Then we have yarn in length and breadth direction, that is XY direction. X in length direction, Y in width direction. And these fabrics are produced on specially built loom. I will show you some of the weaving machine developed so far to produce these kind of fabrics. And there are two techniques are used to make the solid structure. One is called interlaced 3D fabric, another is called non-interlaced 3D fabric. Remember, they are all solid structure. We are talking today only solid structure, multilayer fabric. So in this, you will find two things: interlaced 3D fabric or non-interlaced 3D fabric. So let us now have a look to what is interlaced 3D fabric and what is non-interlaced 3D fabric. This is interlaced 3D fabric. Look at the passage path of yarn in the fabric. Interlaced 3D fabric, 3D weaving involves only two sets of yarn. See, only two sets of yarn. These dots are weft and we have two types of warp. Okay. The multilayer warp length are placed to give the fabric thickness. We are making them multilayer to give. This is actually not a true 3D fabric. I will come to true 3D, but this is a kind of 3D fabric produced on 2D weaving system. And what is important point to see here is XYZ yarns are not orthogonal. They are not at 90 degree to each other. They are at some angle. Okay, but this is interlaced 3D fabric. Then non-interlaced 3D fabrics. In this, we have two types of warp and one weft. I'll show you subsequent diagram from where it will be more clear. This is a US patent. I'll show you further very clear diagram where you can understand. We have a machine also in our lab in this fashion. Look at this. We have two types of warp. All these black color warp coming from one beam, we call it stuffer warp, stuffer yarn, STUFFER, stuffer. We have another warp coming from a separate beam, it's called binder warp. So the main warp is stuffer warp. This another beam takes another warp called binder warp and dots are weft yarn. There are many things to understand this. See the diagram carefully. I will explain one by one. Right now in this diagram, see, there are 6 weft yarn. What you see right now is we insert weft yarn one by one. In this arrangement, only one weft yarn can be inserted at a time. But we have machine which when you will come to the lab, you will see in our 3D weaving machine, which is our patent we have developed. You will see all 6 yarns, 6 weft can be inserted at a time. Means 6 thread will be formed simultaneously. All 6 weft yarn will be inserted simultaneously. I will show you one diagram. You can see from here. There is a better diagram for this. I will show you. Yeah, you can see from here. Maybe there is another diagram. You can see from here. For example, here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 layers. See, 4 sets are opened. Sorry, here it is 5. 5 sets are opened and 5 weft yarn is inserted simultaneously. Look at what you see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One is bottom. And what you see these black lines, these are rapiers. They are rapiers and each rapier carries one weft each. if you have 5 rapier bolted in one drive mechanism, and when 5 sets are opened independently, all these 5 rapier go inside at a time, taking all the 5 weft yarn at a time. That is what I am showing you here. But this is one machine in which we open one set at a time and one rapier at a time. So to insert these 6 weft yarn to make just this much of fabric length, only one this much of fabric length, you have to open 6 shade, 6 different interval, and 6 weft will be inserted. Then bit up will take place. Then after all 6 are inserted, this reed will bit up these weft yarn to the fell of the cloth. Okay, so this is the arrangement. We call it 3D weaving on a 2D weaving system. It looks like a 2D weaving system. Only thing is we have multiple set, multiple weft, 2 types of warp. One main warp we call it stuffer warp, and another warp is a binder warp. And what is this binder warp is doing? This binder warp is making the z-axis, that is thickness yarn. Look at its passage. It is holding all the weft yarn in a stacking form, and we call it binder warp. The yarn which pass through in thickness direction of the fabric, we call it Z plane. Other 2 yarns, that is warp and weft, stuffer warp and weft, makes X and Y plane. This is how this 3D fabric is formed. And remember, the name of this technique is producing 3D fabric by 2D weaving system. So it's called 3D weaving on a 2D weaving machine. Okay, and all the diagram what I have shown you, this is a patented diagram from some US patent. Here number is given, and this is the technique what I explained you, that is written here. Okay, then this is a machine, and we have a machine in our lab. This machine you can have a look coming when you will come to lab. In this machine, we produce all these 3 structures. I will explain subsequently these 3 structures which you can produce in this machine. This is orthogonal, this is warp interlock, this is angle interlock. Remember, and the fabric, as I have already explained you, it has 3 yarns: stuffer warp, binder warp, and filler. Filler is nothing but weft yarn. So what you have seen here is weft yarn is filler. This maroon color is binder warp, and this black color is stuffer warp. Okay, and in fabric form you will get exactly in the shape. Binder warp, stuffer warp, and filler means weft yarn. And the structure is shown in this manner. What you see here is going from this, it is binder warp, and these S1, S2, S3, depending on how many layers we have, is a stuffer warp, and these dots inside is weft yarn. And all the 3 yarns are 90 degrees to each other. That's why it's called orthogonal structure. Okay, and in this case, the specialty is, this is the same loom what you are seeing here. This is the same loom. This is the same exactly. It is a line diagram, so that you can draw this diagram to show the weaving machine function. But they are all one and the same thing. Whether this diagram, or this is the actual machine photograph, and this is the most simplified form to show that the structure, and this is the actual machine photograph. Okay, and here it's shown in different parts of this machine. This is the front one, this is a different shade which you see here, and by this you produce a fabric which look like this. Many layer solid structure fabric produced on the same machine, and this is a orthogonal multi-layer 3D solid structure fabrics produced on a converted weaving machine, means a 2D weaving system. The machine is modified to produce such kind of 3D fabric. Okay. Today, look at this. This is a machine, 3D weaving machine, developed by Dornier very recently, just 1.5 years old. And in the world, this is the first patented commercial machine. It is yet to be installed in some factory because it's very, very expensive machine. In Indian currency, this machine cost about 14 crores rupees. So have a look to this machine. This is a jacquard. This is the jacquard gantry. This is the 3D weaving system. Very, very complicated. And here the warp yarn, that is, they are coming from a krill, not from a beam. All the yarns are coming from a krill. Same what we have also. I have shown you already. The warp yarns are coming from a krill, not from a beam. And look at this is rapier system having 5 rapiers. Shade is formed. All 5 rapiers take 5 weft yarn simultaneously. This is rapier holder. Okay. So what are other speciality of this machine is 3D weaving machine. First, warp is number one. Try to remember. Number one, warp yarns are supplied from a krill. So when I am saying warp yarn, both stopper as well as binder. So stopper yarns will be passing through a separate heeled frame. Binder yarn will pass through a separate heeled frame. As you can see in this diagram, try to understand. So, or you go to this diagram. This is binder thread. Binder thread is coming from a separate beam and also drawn through a separate heel frame. This green color is another heel frame through which only these binder yarns will be passed through. Whereas all other warp yarn, that is stopper, which is coming from this beam, they are divided into 6 different heel frame. This is heel frame number 1, heel frame number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all these stopper yarns are divided into 6 groups, each group inserted through independent heel frame so that we can make a shade. As you can see here at present in this diagram, from the top, second heel frame and third heel frame, they are making this shade. So second heel frame is raised up, third heel frame is going down, shade is formed, weft is inserted. And this particular arrangement is a single rapier weaving arrangement. Whereas the diagram which you see here is a multiple rapier weaving arrangement. Means in this case, what you will find, exactly the yarns are coming from the krill, but what you find is all the 5 or 6 shades are formed simultaneously. And when all the 6 shades are formed, then all the 6 rapiers are inserting weft yarn at a time, so that productivity is higher. If you have only one rapier, one means you will form only one shade at a time, one weft, then second weft, third weft. So obviously the productivity, the speed, weaving speed will be reduced, fabric production will be reduced. That's the only difference. Okay. So in this case, this is I am showing you a commercial machine made by Dornier. Warp yarns are coming from all the warp. When I am saying warp yarns means all the warp, means stopper and binder both. They are coming from a krill. Shade formation here is jacquard. Whereas in other machine it was not jacquard. This is not a jacquard, and you cannot understand what shade formation mechanism is. It is a piston driven shade formation. What is piston driven shade formation? You see, and the machine which we have in our lab you will find each independent heel frame are driven by independent servo motor. Means if we have 18 heel frame, we have 18 servo motor, and all the servo motors are connected to a computer by a programming. By virtue of weave design, we decide which heel frame will be raised, which heel frame will be down. By a computer programming from the weave design, we decide, and accordingly that servo motor, all servo motors are computerized motor, they are all programmed motor, rather you can say programmed motor. So those motors will give its drive, that is upward or downward, depending on our weave design. That means which reed will go up, which reed will go down, so that its head will be formed and weaving will continue. So the Dernier machine which I am showing you is different from here, because what here is all the heel frames are, because this is not a Jacquard shading machine. This is a heel frame machine from where all the independent heel frames are driven by from a computer programming, giving a piston mechanism. So either you can give a servo motor or a piston. Piston drive means it is by air pump. So piston will go up and go down based on the mechanism fitted here. So that the idea is to raise or to get down the heel, so that shade will be formed and weft will be inserted. In this case, this is a very expensive machine. There is an electronic Jacquard. It decides which warp will go up, which warp will go down. Accordingly, shade will be formed and weft will be inserted. So warp is coming from creel, shade is formed by Jacquard, weft is inserted by rapier, and what other speciality? Other speciality here is, look at, this is a very peculiar thing kept in front of the loom. You might be seeing this for the first time. You have not seen any loom in which this is the front of the loom. There is a platform. Why there is a platform in front of the loom? This is called horizontal take-up device. We call it linear take-up. There are two terms you can use, this linear take-up or horizontal take-up. In a normal weaving machine, which you have studied so far, we have a rotary take-up. Means after fabric is woven, the cloth is being wound over a cloth roller, and cloth roller takes a circular motion. It winds the fabric woven continuously with a synchronization of let-up take-up mechanism. Means as much fabric will be woven, the same quantity of warp yarn will be released by let-up mechanism from the beam, and the fabric will be wound over a cloth roller by take-up mechanism. But in this machine, this is a horizontal take-up or linear take-up. The reason being, the kind of fabric we produce here is a very, very thick fabric. I have already shown you, look at this fabric. You cannot wind this fabric on a beam, cloth roller. They are as strong as any ceramic tile. They will be used for bulletproof jacket. They will be used for composite material, which is used to make, railway bodies or aircraft bodies. Very, very strong composite material will be used by these fabrics. So these fabrics cannot be wound over a cloth roller. So we cannot have a rotary take-up mechanism. We have to have a horizontal take-up mechanism or linear take-up mechanism. So fabric after weaving comes straight from the front rest to this direction. And after weaving a required length, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, we just cut the fabric. Because we don't need a 20 meter length of this kind of thing. Nowhere we need 20 meter length. 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, because it will be ultimately go to make a composite material. So depending on our requirement, where it is going, so every time after weaving certain length being dragged over, there is a horizontal or linear take-up mechanism. So fabric comes out and placed over this platform, and we cut the fabric after weaving of a fixed certain length, maybe 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, whatever it is, depending on what is the length of this horizontal take-up device. Normally, the width of this loom is very small, 1 meter or 1.5 meter, because the mechanism here, weft insertion mechanism, is rigid rapier. I have already shown you the rapier here. It cannot be flexible. It's a rigid rapier. Look at rod, very strong steel rod. It carries weft yarn, goes straight inside. So the weft insertion is by rigid rapier, not even flexible rapier. Okay. So I told you all mechanism: shading, jacquard, water supply, creel. So there is no let off because yarn is coming from here by pulling force. Take up, linear take up, bit up, normal, that is parallel bit up. Weft insertion, that is picking by rigid rapier. This is how the machine is designed to produce a 3D fabric based on 2D weaving principle. Okay, now, and this is projected view of the same machine. If you want to see very in a close view, same machine. There are some features I have already told you, all these pictures. Weight of the bobbin, etc., etc. You don't have to remember all these figures. Whatever point I have told you, that is enough. So this machine has a different zone: creel zone, shading zone, picking zone, read and bit up zone, and take up zone. Okay, I think from the diagram you can make out creel zone, shading zone, picking zone. Creel zone, shading zone, and picking zone is rapier system, which you cannot see here, but in previous machine you can see here picking zone. It is the same machine what you are seeing. So this is all rapier externally located. So picking zone. Then what else? Creel zone, shading zone, picking zone, read and bit up. So it is normal read, parallel bit up, and take up zone is linear take up. That is what you call this horizontal take up or linear take up. So this is how the machine is divided into 5 different zones, and mechanism is there in each place. The creel looks like this, where you can fit number of packages. And there are some technical specification of this fabric. You don't have to remember all this. Okay. Then this is next type of 3D fabric. It's called noobing. What is noobing? This is exactly what we discussed, the same fabric, but the terminology is different. When this technology was developed about 20 years ago, people were calling this fabric as a 3D woven fabric, all these fabrics. The Textile Institute, which is apex body of all textile developments located in UK, was not accepting this fabric, calling as a woven fabric. The reason being, by weaving, by virtue of a definition, a fabric is called woven fabric only when there is an interlacement of warp and weft. That's the basic definition of weaving, interlacement of warp and weft. And where is the interlacement here? Where is the interlacement here? This is warp, this is another warp, dots are weft. There is no interlacement. They're all going straight. So how can you call it a woven fabric? If you look at the strict technical definition of woven structure, which is we define as interlacement of warp and weft. Since there is no interlacement of warp and weft, so the term 3D woven fabric was not accepted at that time. So just for academic interest, to satisfy the academic definition, people were using a term called noobing. Same structure, This is binder thread, warp, stopper warp, and weft, XYZ yarn. And what is important in this is it's called zero crimp weaving, because there is no interlacement since there is no crimp. And the role of crimp I have already told you in the lecture 1. In 3D we want crimpless yarn because crimp decides modulus of the fabric. More is the crimp in the yarn, less is the modulus. So in 3D weaving we get zero crimp weaving, no crimp in the any of these yarn. So if you try to test the tensile property of these fabrics, you will find the curve where from the beginning the curve rises straight, showing high modulus, because it will never slide down towards extension axis because there is no crimp. You won't find any decrimping zone, as you have seen. You have not gone through this. You will discuss this in your theory of textile structure, fabric structures topic, when we will discuss tensile behavior of woven fabric. You will find the woven, the load elongation diagram of a woven fabric has 3 zones. There is one zone called decrimping zone in which the curve tilts towards strain axis, that is extension axis, which is the horizontal axis. But in this case, and that is because of the crimp is there. Since there is no crimp, so you will find the curve always rises up, tilts towards stress axis, that is force axis, so that the fabric gives you very high modulus, and it is possible only because it is a zero crimp weaving, no crimp in the yarn. This is very, very important. You must remember it. Now I will discuss with you the third, and this is the last type of 3D fabric solid structure. It's called true 3D weaving or 3D weaving of 3D fabrics. What we have discussed so far is 3D fabric on 2D weaving system. Here it is 3D weaving on or 3D fabric on 3D weaving system. First, try to understand what is 3D weaving on 3D fabric on 3D weaving system. In previous, which was called 3D fabric on 2D weaving system, we were taking 2 warp, 1 weft. Try to understand. In 3D fabric on 2D weaving system, we have 2 warp. This is binder warp, maroon color. Blue color is stopper warp. I have already explained what is stopper warp, what is binder warp, and what is weft. So in this 2 warp, 1 weft. And this weft is conventional weft as in our other conventional 2D weaving. It goes horizontally. There is a shade, horizontal shade. Contrary to this, in case of what we are now discussing, 3D weaving on 3D fabrics, what you will find, it is a weaving of 2 weft, 1 warp. Remember, it is a weaving of 2 weft, 1 warp. It's a 3D fabric. It's a 3D weaving. In 3D weaving, we need at least 3 yarns because we want to keep 1 yarn in thickness direction, that is Z plane. In conventional woven 2D fabric, we have 2 yarns, X and Y, warp and weft. But here we need a 3rd yarn. And the previous 3D fabric which we discussed, 3D weaving on 2D weaving system, there we are using 2 warp, 1 weft. Whereas in this case, which now I am going to show you, 3D weaving or 3D fabric on 3D weaving system uses 2 weft, 1 warp. What is that 2 weft, 1 warp? We call it dual directional shading. What is dual directional? Also, I will explain now. This is how this fabric is shown. X, Y, Z yarn. Have a look. X, Y, Z yarn. Multi-layer warp, only Z. Two sets of weft, X and Y. Look here, X and Y. This or this, they are weft yarns. Warp yarn is only those standing, only one warp. That means we have a set of weft going in this direction, another set of weft going in this direction, one in horizontal direction, another in vertical direction. This is how this fabric is shown here. We have only one warp, that is Z plane, two weft, one horizontally, one vertically. How this weaving takes place? So weaving shown in this way. Let us go to shading diagram from where it will be clear. Look at this diagram carefully. Red dots are warp. Green dots, one weft. Blue dots, another weft. Another means group of weft. This is a group of weft. So these are all warp yarn, red dots. In one cycle, these warp yarn make a column-wise shade. We call vertical shade. And these green weft yarns are inserted from top to bottom vertically. In the next cycle, the same warp yarn makes a horizontal shade. We call it row-wise shade, and we insert row-wise peak horizontally. All these blue dots are horizontal peak. That is how this principle is called dual directional shading operation. Shade formation takes place in two different directions. One is vertical direction, another is horizontal direction. And for each direction, we have two group of weft yarn. Green, they are column-wise shade, column-wise peaks. Here it is row-wise shade, row-wise peaks. So the weaving as a whole is two weft, one warp weaving system, or we call it dual directional shading operation. The mechanism, there is no commercial machine based on this. In previous one, there is a commercial machine. That's why I have shown you, I explained you. On this, so far, there is no commercial machine. But some manufacturers, some fabric producers, they have developed their own machine, producing the fabric and selling it in the market. The technology is yet to be established as a commercial machine. So that's why I am unable to show you any commercial machine based on dual shading mechanism. But this is the mechanism you must understand. And this is a true 3D fabric, true 3D fabric on 3D weaving system, where we have two different type of shade, horizontal and vertical, two weft yarn inserted and one weft which is in the Z plane. This is how this fabric is produced, and this fabric is shown in this manner. I have already shown you this diagram. Warp in Z direction, two mutually perpendicular weft in X and Y direction. This is called true 3D woven fabric. So this is all about today for